Okay, hi, this is on Imagination. So we've talked about networking. We've given the overview of quite a bit here. And this is where there's going to be, when we start to bring all of this together, I talked about the dream of dreams. I want to talk about your disbelief. This is probably easily one of the hardest things for people to really understand and deal with. And of all the things you have to work with, you're going to run into your disbelief quite a bit. So, disbelief is caused by a logical fallacy. Just give me a minute here. I tell my daughter that under no circumstances does my business revolve around her. Or, I'm sorry, reverse that. She does not tiptoe around my business, and that she is to live her life her way. So, I got my kids here, and my business revolves around them. So there's no tiptoeing. Logical fallacy is your disbelief. That is 100% what creates disbelief. Now, in order for you to remove disbelief, what you really need to do is understand what's going on in psychology in the dissection underneath all of disbelief. What you are pulling from is trial and error that leads to evidence. That's a really hardcore thing there where you're going, I tried, I failed, evidence. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But there's factors that you didn't take into consideration, which are no longer going to be part of your equation, in addition to the fact that you have new data, which you haven't trialed and errored with this new data. So the situation is not the same situation. So that's the very first thing we need to talk about. The next thing we need to talk about is the society and also your educational system. These are two massive parts to this whole equation. These four things, the educational system, our societal mindset, the logical fallacy, and trial and error equals your evidence, all builds and creates your belief system. Belief systems are built on logical proof that you then use to fortify your belief. This is where it gets to be fun. You have faith in your proof, and your proof validates your faith. It's a catch-22. It's the only catch-22 in our entire subconscious mind and system that is actually natural and supposed to be there. We have faith and we have proof, and they are actually 100% symbiotic. You have to have faith in your proof, and your proof validates your faith. They work together. And if you don't have faith in your proof, then you have that's doubt, people. That's doubt. That's exactly where doubt comes from. When you don't have faith in your proof, you've got doubt. So, when you have a lifetime built up of evidence telling you that A and B don't make C, you're going to believe that A and B don't lead to C. And you are right with the certain calculations and past information that you are calculating it on. The equation is now different. The equation is different. So now you're not running off of the same equation that you were when you failed the first X amount of times. Your data is no longer valid. Your data is not valid because this is a new situation. So I'm going to walk you through how it's new so you can understand why this is a new equation, which means you don't know what the outcome is going to be. The reason why we're doing this is to invalidate your proof because your proof is outdated. Your proof is outdated. So we're going to start with the society. Society tells you you can't have your dream. You're right. In the old traditional style, you couldn't have your dream. Guess what? This is New Earth, and your dream is now okay, and this is all we're about. Welcome to New Earth. This is the most exciting thing about everything that's taking place is you can now have your dream. Because the traditional business model that's built up that says, oh, you can't do that. Want to bet? Welcome to New Earth. Yes, you can. In fact, there's thousands of people doing it every day, proving that that belief is bullshit because there's a new society now. The new society proves that you can do it. You can have your dream. 100%. I have the weirdest dream. Believe me, it's weird. And I found a way to make it work in New Earth because New Earth, I didn't have this obstacle. Believe me, when I was over there with traditional art, I'm sitting here going, what the hell am I going to do? I can't walk around selling literally my God in Magic School. And here I am selling my God in Magic School now. Believe me, if I can sell, and I am, a God and Magic School for wizards, you can too. Believe me, you can have whatever dream you want because this is New Earth now. It goes by a different set of rules. We're going to show you how, and we're going to show you all the ways to get around all the bullshit that they say you can't have because yes, you can. Now, the next part of all of this that we're going to look at is your educational system. I am sorry. Your education was crap. It really, truly was. The Roman educational system didn't know anything about education when they put it together, and that wasn't their agenda. They built the educational system to control you and farm your resources. We know this. Thomas Sowell just spent 40 years proving this with science, while that same system ignored him because they liked doing it. So this is old news. We know the educational system is shit, which means most of what you learned was not good enough to do what you wanted to do. This is the best part. The videos you are watching right now is actually part of a societal plugin that supplements and fills in the gaps of all the education that you didn't get, that needed to get for it to run properly in the appropriate order of operations to plug in the missing pieces and components to make it run smooth. Because I got StoryWorks. So I was able to take a look at the educational program and go, oh, look, they have a gap here, a gap here, a gap here, here, push it in. So that's what this program is. You're actually watching the upgrade for the societal educational system that was causing your entire system to not function properly because they strategically took out certain gaps in your education so it wouldn't work right, so they could farm your resources, which means you're not going to have this problem anymore. The reason why you couldn't do anything before the way you wanted it to was because they messed up your wiring in your brain on purpose, and we're fixing it. It's that simple. They just removed strategically a couple dimensions out of your system, and we're going to put them back in the right order and clean out your logic to give you the truth, to give you the freedom so you can have your nourishment. The reason why life has been so hard is because you got a tree in your radiator. And I know how to take it out. So we're taking it out by showing you the big picture, showing you exactly what's going on, pointing a finger at, yeah, that societal loophole that they say you can't have. Yeah, New Earth. Yes, you can. Oh, that problem with your educational system. Yeah, we figured it out. We corrected the formula. Here's a societal upgrade. We're going to plug that right in. Welcome to Society 2.0. It's compatible with New Earth. That way you can just plug it in. It's really awesome over here. And now it's functioning. Now, that whole thing about you trial and erroring and trying to get a result that you couldn't get before, absolutely right, you could, but that's not the case now because we fixed your educational system, we gave it an upgrade, and you're not in that society anymore. You're in New Earth. And logical fallacy, well, we just removed those. The more you learn from this program, the more you upgrade your education and give it a makeover to plug in the missing pieces. And then we take the math parts and we put it in the right order for you and we sort it all out for you so it runs smooth. We're unlocking your brain with a Rubik's Cube. It's really cool. So when you're talking about disbelief, it is not you. Trust me, it's not you. It was never you. I cannot emphasize this to you enough. You were never, ever the problem. It was never you. Your brain is a literal living Rubik's Cube, and they had the algorithm and they knew exactly how to move the algorithm so it wouldn't align, so that it wouldn't work. Did you ever see the anime Naruto? You really need to watch the anime Naruto. It's really cool. So there's this part where this boy, when he was born, had a demon fox placed inside of him in a seal. And later on, he ended up having this really bad guy mess around with the seal. Only the seal that he used on the boy locked his power in such a way that it messed up the boy's power. So every time the boy tried to use his own power, he couldn't because the Rubik's Cube inside of him was actually a maze that redirected his power away from him. Later on, his sage master was meditating with him, looked at the seal on the boy, and realized that the seal was incorrect. So he corrected the seal and unlocked the boy's power, and the boy was able to do things without a problem. You are Naruto with a broken seal. We know how to fix it. We're fixing it right now. You are never the problem. Your brain works beautifully. Everything about you works beautifully. You just had a few algorithms that were in the wrong place with the wrong flow chart. We're just going to correct your flow chart. As soon as the flow chart's corrected, everything's going to flow beautifully. Your energy is going to flow beautifully. It's all going to work out properly because we have the right algorithm now. So we're just correcting your algorithm. So the concept of I'm not good enough, the concept of, well, I tried and I failed, long history now. You were not taught how to learn. You were not given the manual for your subconscious mind. You were never taught how to use it. Well, people did tricks and manipulation to alter your mind so that it was going a very certain way that was absolutely incompatible with happiness, incompatible with certain things being done the way they needed to be done. We're fixing that now. So after we fix this, after we get the right algorithm in the right order, and we get the right logic set up in the right perspective order, after that, we're going to give you some basic trials, basic assignments in the right order, A, B, C, D. You should fly right through them. Now, if our algorithm is correct, you'll fly right through them. If you do the algorithm in the right order, you'll fly right through them. We need to make sure the algorithm is correct. We need to make sure you're doing it in the right order. And then once that's all set up, you should fly. Now, you're going to run into traumas. That's expected. We know that. That's normal. We already have the algorithm for that. Thank you, dear. So what we're going to do is as you go through the algorithm and you start going through pieces and you start putting it all together, we're going to prepare you for what's to come. The dream of all dreams is the goal and the agenda. Making sure you get that set up in the right order and sequencing is huge to this. And then connecting your community and then showing you how that flows. That's the next part that we're going to be focusing on is how to connect all of the power works together. Understanding the order of operations, the overlying and everything is vital to this and making sure you set it up in the right order. But you need to start at A, which is you, addressing the scarcity mindset. So after you address the scarcity mindset, you're going to dig out a lot of trauma there. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. Your mom and your dad are going to come up. When your mom and your dad come up, we're going to give you the tools to clean that out. We're going to teach you how to deconstruct your trauma. When you deconstruct your trauma, it resets all of that and you can immediately follow the algorithm. Once it resets the algorithm and follows it through, we're going to be able to give you the tools. You need the compass. We'll give you the manual. We'll give you the walkthrough and the guide, and we'll plug it all together. Now, we've gamified this. We've gamified it. So we have 3 different games that you can choose from. Like, okay, we have an apocalypse game. We have a zombie apocalypse, survive the apocalypse prepper game. We have a King's Holy Quest for the Grail. Yeah, a Holy Quest for the Grail game. And we have oh, it's the other one. I want to say it's a God Quest game, the God Pilgrimage game. So we have 3 games you can choose from. And whatever game you want to go through walks you through the process. And there'll be a scavenger hunt. There will be check marks that you do. And then it's getting you in with your group. So the first game is going to be team members and finding your guild. So it's building up your guild, and that's going to be your giving circle. So it's getting your play group together, finding the people who match your dream. And you're going to find your core common denominator, the thing of all things that you want everybody in your world to have in common with you. What is the one thing that everybody in your world has to have in common? Now, being kind is not a common denominator. That is humanity. This is really important. Grouping, we got to remember our grouping, okay? So there's the grouping that we have here. This is your generations again, is going to be kindness. Now, this is humanity. That's your grandfather. Okay, grandfather grouping is humanity. Okay, So humanity is not a mandatory, this is your guaranteed. If they're not kind, that's not a common denominator. I mean, it is. It's like the common denominator, but that's humanity. That's humanity. Being ethical, that's humanity. We want to look at the common denominator of your personality. So this is a given. This is a given. The humanity factor is your given. This is a guaranteed. This is not negotiable. But the common denominator is your unique style of you. This is your identity. So your identity is your, let me make sure I have this right, because humanity is your grandfather. Yeah, your identity is going to be the father. Okay? Your identity is going to be the father. Now, the son, that is going to be your, that's going to be your differences where you trial and sample and buffet your other stuff with other people where you don't quite mesh up, but you're open-minded and you explore. So that's where you explore. Okay? Now, what a lot of people do when they set up a friendship is they focus on the son. And then when they say, okay, what is your standard for somebody being nice? Well, they have to be nice to me. They have to treat me kindly. But they have to like me. That's actually what a lot of people say is they have to like me. They have to want me. They have to not beat me. That's not a grandfather law. That is like 5 generations down standard. So understanding your standards and your groupings of your standards is vital to this. You are going to have everybody in the grandfather because everyone's in my circle is required to have this. And if you're not with the grandfathers, this is the 12 ethics. These are the 12 ethics. We're going to be talking a lot about the 12 ethics. So this is humanity. That's a given. That's not negotiable. When you choose a common denominator, you are choosing one thing that is your unique self that everybody has in common. My common denominator is play. You got to play with me. If you can't play with me, it's just not going to work. I don't want people who are just business. You've got to play with me. You got to play with me. Because if you can't play with me, what am I going to do with you? I mean, come on. What are we going to do? If you can't play with me, I got nothing because I'm not going to be walking around business, business, business. I can't do that. Okay. I got to play. I got to play. Okay. So that's my common denominator is play. So if play is your common denominator, you're probably part of my guild and we need to talk. Now, the next one over here, that's going to be, it's your style and your identity, but it's secondaries and tertiaries. We're going to talk about that grouping. Now, the further we get away from the origin, the further you're going to get away from the origin, the further you're going to get away from humanity. This is going to be your style. So humanity, style, culture, tradition, and then it gets really bad as we go down the line. So this is why we want to make sure that the origin is a common denominator with all of them. That's why it's the origin. See how that works? So this is the one trait. Your guilt is the one trait that you can't live without. It's just you can't do it. You would count that as part of humanity. That's where my brain is play is humanity. I mean, it is. But for me, that's and it's interesting because this is when I did my healing and my growth. One of the things I realized was how much I love to play. And I had all these people who would come in and talk to me about philosophy. I love philosophy. Don't get me wrong. Like philosophy and we're like this. But I ended up getting a lot of people, and that's all they wanted to do. They only wanted to philosophize. So I really got bored with it. I didn't get bored with it. I eat, drink, sleep, die, live, wallow in philosophy. So for me, I want to break from it. I want to break from it. Philosophy would be like, oh, that'll be my 3rd generation, 4th generation down. That's my son and my grandson. That's where that is. That is way over there because I'm doing that no matter what. And I want to escape it sometimes. That's where the play comes in. So my friends allow me to escape it when I play. So when I put that honor rule in, all of a sudden I had a whole lot of friends and I went, yeah, I can't, I wasn't doing anything fun with them. They would call me up and I'd have to go to work. And that wasn't fun. And then I noticed I had about 10 friends who just called me to analyze really deep topics. And I realized I was spending all this time analyzing really deep topics that were boring for me because I'd already done it. And suddenly I was giving free one-on-one classes to over 10 people all the time, every day, going, I don't have time to teach you philosophy. I have to run my business. So when I set the standard of, yeah, if you can't play with me, we're not going to be able to get along, suddenly those people, and they did, they went away. And I went, wow, that's interesting. And then I got a whole nother new set of people who went in and said, oh, I love to play. Oh my God, yes. Now, then they turned out to be philosophers. Oh, that became a thing. That became a thing. And I default to the play. So now when I'm tired, I can still play. I can watch weird movies or Rick and Morty or just weird do shit. But when I'm not tired, that's when I can. So you're going to have your I'm not tired, I'm energized, and then you're going to have your I'm tired, what do you just want to do? And this is where you start to really sort out what the grouping is for and how it relates to your story. So your grouping tells you which is the order of priority in your story, which is vital for you making friends, building your network. So when you're building your business, what kind of an atmosphere do you want your business to be? When I was looking at businesses, I will never forget it. I watched Pixar. It was like watching the behind the scenes of working at Pixar. And they have scooters in their workplace, and the walls are colorful, and they've got animated critters all over the place. They are one step away from having animated creatures running along like Mary Poppins and stuff, just running through there, and they have scooters. And I went, why can't I work in an office like that? And then this one dude said the halls were so big that they had to have scooters. And he says, working at Pixar was like working in a big kindergarten room. And that inspired me. And I went, well, why can't I have it? I want to work in a kindergarten room. And it hit me. It hit me really hard that is exactly the work office I want. I want to be able to show up in a group meeting with onesies. Like if I can't wear a onesie to work, I don't want to work there. If I can't wear my crowns to a meeting, I don't want to go to the meeting. I say toga party Fridays, and we have toga party Fridays. And I expect to see everyone wearing a toga. That's the kind of work environment I want. Play. So when you're building your guild, this is literally your work office. This is it. Your guild, like I said, this is New Earth. Isn't this place awesome? It's your guild. It's Pixar's fault. They said kindergarten room in the office. And now we all got to do that because that's awesome. So that's the kind of person I am. I want a kindergarten room for my office. That's why I have the Mermaid Cove. So once you figure out what your one common denominator is that's mandatory, and let this about you change. This is one of those things where you might have to try out a few things before you settle on one final thing. What is the common denominator of you? What is your common denominator? That's going to be that mandatory thing that everybody who comes into your life has to have. Like literally, adults come to my life, can you play? Can you play with me? And I give them the mermaid code. And this is my test. I hand people the mermaid cove and I do this. What are they going to think about the Mermaid Cove? And if they don't like the Mermaid Cove, they're not my people. Like this is on a people test. So I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook. Facebook, I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I throw it out there and I'm like, this is the Mermaid Cove. And I could be weird. I got Merlin in my pocket over here. I am Merlin in the pocket. But then I go over to LinkedIn and I can feel the suffocating stiffness of professionalism. And then I put this out there. I put Merlin in your pocket out there. I put the Mermaid Cove out there. I'll talk to somebody and I'll go, so this is what I'm doing. And then I hold my breath and I wait. This is a sign from psychology. If you're putting your stuff out there as you are and you're holding your breath, that's because they're not your people or you don't know them well enough. And here's the thing. And this is my psychology test. If you have a problem with the Mermaid Cove, you're not my people. You're not my people. So it's like my people test. It is my people test. I don't have a couch. I have a floor with a cuddle puddle. So you come to my house, you're sitting on the floor. It's my test. If you're too good to sit on the floor, you're not my people. So I know who my people are because they sit in the cuddle puddle on the floor. So I got like things that I know are my people. And when you build your business like that, what you're really doing is building your community and your people. This was common in ancient Greece. This was common in ancient civilizations. This was it. Is you could put yourself out there and go, yeah, this is my weird. Come to my weird. And you could have your weird. And then there was about 2,000 years where they executed the weirds and they burned them at the stake with their cats. We're not going to talk about that. And then after a while, about 5 years ago, really the weird said, I'm doing it because it's New Earth. Give me a read. COVID happened. That's what happened. COVID fried our brains and we all went, no, we're going to do it this way now. After COVID, that's it. That's it. Just COVID was it. COVID was the last straw. COVID really was. And so now we're all over here in New Earth because that was our breaking point. So yeah, like this is where it is now where we can finally say, yeah, this is going to be my weird. And I'm looking for my people. And when you finally put yourself out there with your people, when you're finally looking for that one common denominator where people can finally come in and gravitate to you and you're there, you're set. Like that's it right there. They're your people. And here's the best thing about your people. We're going to talk about your marketing. Your marketing is not, this is who you should be. No, 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 no. No, this is New Earth. Your marketing is going to be, this is who I am. Believe me, my marketing is all about me. You know who you're getting when you get my marketing. Yeah, that's not a mask. That's all me. So when I put my marketing out there, I'm letting people know what they're getting. Now I've got this uber awesome black cat that's all sleek, and I'm going to be honest with you. Well, that's my New York side. Okay. I have that side too. And you're getting my Merlin. So when I put my Merlin out there, okay, this is as weird as it's going to get. And I did this. I did the black chic and the cat and the professional. And then I got those people and I went, yeah, but now I'm stuck constantly doing that. And I didn't want to do that all the time. So this is the difference between your main quest line and your side quest line. Your main quest line is literally the weirdest thing you've got in your bags. This is it. Where is your market your weird? Because that allows you to relax. When you market your weird, gloves come off. Now you can tone it down and relax. You tone it down off of your weird and you relax. And people are like, oh yeah, you're not like that all the time. No, of course not. That's exhausting. But when I do get on my soapboxes, Merlin's coming out. And when Merlin comes out, I'm off on a tangent. And I did this. You're going to do it too when you discover you're weird. I'm going to give weird lessons. That's what I'm going to do. What happened was I had it reversed so that they came to me with that attraction toward the black cat, the sleek, the professionalism. And then, well, someone said Hoover Dam, and I just had to get my soapbox out then. So I threw down my soapbox, I jumped up on my soapbox, I became Merlin, and I did my whole 30 minutes and 40 hours worth of hatred on the Hoover Dam. Oh yeah, I got a speech. And they went, whoa. And then I never saw them again, which is okay. They were not my people. You have to love my soapbox on Hoover Dam. It comes with a disclaimer before I begin it. And that right there was a wake-up call that maybe I should have that reversed. So I threw Merlin in the pocket out there, and I'm getting people going, hey, I'm Merlin. So when I'm quiet and I'm not on that soapbox, I can just relax and be chill. And then they stayed, and I went, fascinating. So I purposely gave them the weirdest it's gonna get, guys, Merlin in the pocket. And I noticed that they loved it and they stayed. And the best part is I relaxed. There was a part of my brain that went, I don't have to worry about what are they going to do when they see Merlin in my pocket? I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about that because they've seen the worst of me. That's as bad as it gets. Like that's Merlin in the pocket's as bad as it gets. That's it. So now that's the boundary. And this is boundary setting. I took my weird as far as my weird could go on a land with Merlin in the pocket. And then now I've got a range. Now, this is it right here. This is the part where this is what you show people. But when you show people this, now you're stuck. And that's not a lot of room for you to go. Now you have to go out this far. And now you're like, and so this is exactly the psychology of socializing. It goes like this. You meet someone, and this is the phase. Do you remember that episode in Seinfeld when George meets a woman and he's wearing a hat and she likes him? And he says, "Oh my God, she met me while I was wearing the hat. She doesn't know I'm bald." And for the rest of the episode, he had to make sure he was wearing a hat so that he could never run into her and find out she was bald or he was bald. Do you remember that? That's what I'm talking about. So you are literally setting yourself up to be George with a hat. Completely different now, isn't it? And then you hold your breath, you take the hat off. Great, but you have another mask. And then they see that mask. And then you have to do it again. We've done this. We've all done this. And then you put it out there and then you do it. No, I don't do that. This is the worst it's gonna get. That's Merlin in my pocket. They go, whoa, this is amazing. I know, right? And then they come in and now I've got all this breathing room. I have a lot of breathing room because I showed people the Merlin in my pocket. So I have all the breathing room. Now I can just relax, sit back, be me, and all the different me's that there is. And I don't have to worry because they've seen Merlin in my pocket. So we're good. We're good. You see that? And yes, you sing as bad as it gets. So now I can be me. I can do all of my weird. This is my business card. I mean, this is as weird as it gets. This is my introduction to people because it really sets me apart and it defines, yeah, don't expect that crap from me. I don't wear masks. And it's freedom. That's what you're giving yourself is freedom. So when you build your business, there's going to be people who find your weird inspirational. This is important. There's going to be people who find your weird an inspiration. They're going to go, oh my God, I want to be, I'm going to be weird just like you. And I'm going to be like, yes, be weird. And then you're going to go out and you're going to be weird and you're going to attract that weird. And that's really going to allow you the freedom to be free. And then it's going to allow all the people who are weird tolerant, not only tolerant, but celebratory. And that's just it, is you attract those people and they come to you. It allows you to relax. It builds authenticity. This is really what is in authenticity. So the more you bring those people around you, the more you are authentic, the more you can enjoy it. That formula, enjoyment, the giving, the excitement, the animation, the weirdness, whatever combination you are, the authenticity, that is what attracts people, is authenticity. Because you're no longer chasing, you're yourself. You're going, yeah, isn't that weird? And then those who are for you will come to you. And those who aren't will go away. Instant repellent. It's wonderful. Instantly. It's wonderful. And it's effortless because you're just being you. So you don't have to work at being you. You never have to work at being you. When you figure that out, everything changes. That the only work you ever have to do is not being you. So when it's time for you to start building your community, and I'm going to tell you right now, the time is now. You start building now. Get your guild. It starts with a guild. It starts with what is your dream of dreams and what is the one trait about yourself, the common denominator, the mandatory you want in my club. What's your one thing that they all have to get into your club? What is your club's theme? That's what it is. What is your club's theme? We're going to write that down. Theme. So you want your dream of dreams and you want your theme. And then you're going to go network and you're going to go find. And that's going to be the conversation start. What's your dream of dreams? What's your theme? What's your theme and what's your dream of dreams? And that's going to be the two questions you ask. What is your dream? What is your theme? And what is your dream of dreams? And we can go ahead, we can do this a few ways. We can do a form, and then I will put you all together so that or you can do it yourself. I think I'll do both. So we can do the easy way where I'll drop you in the group together and I'll partner you up together if you want, all in the same guild, or you can also do the mingling on Fridays and go over what is your dream of dreams and what is your themes. Now, I did that first article on lesson 1 where I talk about the 4 types of dreams. And remember how we talked about you got your dream A, your dream B, your dream C, your dream D, which isn't a dream at all. It's what your parents want you to do. So dream A is what unlocks dream of dreams. So if you're at dream C, B, A, that's okay. Wildest dreams, go all the way out. What is the one craziest dream you want more than anything? That is where you start. And wherever you go for, what do you really want? Because whatever you say, what do you really want to do? And that's the question you need to ask. You're going to give me 2 answers. The first one's going to be the answer that you have ready to go, but the other one's going to be the one in the back of your mind that you're too terrified to even look at. What's that one? Because that is what unlocks the dream of dreams. What is the dream you had when you were 4 years old? Now, there's going to be a lot of you who says, I just want to be myself. I've heard this one before. I just want to be myself. That is not a dream. That is a longing and a pining for the self. That's not a dream. That is I wish I could be who I am. And that is a whole nother topic. We'll be talking about that one a lot. But let's focus on that first. If that's going to be your dream, you need to know right away that's not a dream. That is you going, I wish I had me. After you have you, then we're going to talk about what your actual dream is, because there's going to be a point where you have who you really are and you're going to go, okay, now what's my dream? My dream is owning a playground and giving a whole lot of people a place to play while I educate them playfully. That is my dream. And I'm just being myself. So saying, I just want to be me and get paid for being myself, that is the sounds of somebody wishing they could have their identity back. That's not the dream. The dream is inside of the identity. So you can see how that's a stepping stone. So one thing first, then the other. So get the identity back, and then we go for the next piece. So thank you so much. May the kindest of words always find you.